Hello and good evening. Okay, so it's Thursday again already. I can't believe how fast the weeks are going. Okay, so if you're watching me live, then please do leave me a thumbs up or a comment. Let me know that you're here. I think I can see the comments as they come up. And if you're watching on replay, then again, please do leave me at least a thumbs up just to let me know that you've been here and you've seen it. And as always, if there's any questions or comments that you want to make, please do drop them below and I'll happily come back and address them. So I hope you've all had a good week. If you're and as excited to know that it's Friday tomorrow as I am. Yeah, so that's the thing, isn't it? So when we work for ourselves and it's basically, yeah, we could be, working any of the 7 days of the week. The boundaries seem to be blurred, don't they? Yet we all still kind of, well, I certainly do, still get fixed in that kind of Monday to Friday mindset. And you know what, it's not always a bad thing. So today we're talking about how to create and plan our ideal working week so that we can actually prioritize the tasks on our business as well as in our business. So when we think about it, why do we need an ideal week? This is the thing. Business was meant to be fun and unpredictable, isn't it? We wanted a business for ourselves to feel like we have more freedom and more choice and often to fit around other things. And what we do is we often forget to actually set a boundary and to apply the same behaviours and core drivers that have actually stood us in good stead up until now. And this is something that has come to light for me definitely quite recently as I, navigate changes in my business and in my life as well. So what's actually enabled me to do that is by having my week planned out. I like to know what happens. So energy is not always a consistent thing, is it? And brain fog as well. Quite often I come to my desk and I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. And in order to be able to grow in our business and, as I say, navigate changes, level up, we can't make more time, but what we can do is absolutely make better use of it. And we were chatting about this actually in our VIP on Monday, and we were talking about, hi Gemma, we were talking about the principle of good planning. Actually, it creates like a TARDIS effect. So we can actually fit a lot more into the same amount of space. It's crazy. Don't ask me to explain it, but it absolutely works. So what I want to share with you today is how to actually do that, how we can remind ourselves of the things that can work, but also how to actually get visibility and on our time and make it tangible, and to actually end up being able to prioritize the things that we often avoid, because the things that we, just getting distracted, getting busy, showing up and not feeling 100%, these are all things, and often it is the stuff on our business that goes by the wayside. I don't know about you guys. Hi Hindi. I don't fail to show up for my clients. Even if I'm not feeling 100%, I know what to do and I get myself in the zone. But some days when I'm not feeling it, or I'm a bit confused about what I'm supposed to be doing, or I'm a bit distracted or overthinking it, which is often the case, it's the stuff on my business that actually goes by the wayside. So it's stuff like social media, writing your emails, planning and that kind of stuff. So let me ask you, do you have repeated tasks that you complete week in, week out? So this is something that I realised when I started to take my business seriously and started planning, particularly when I wanted to show up more on social media, was I found that there were things that I was doing week in, week out, sometimes every day. And what I used to do in my job, some administration is kind of my background, so being a PA and all that kind of stuff, so organising everybody else. And I would always have a list, you know, it's like, you know, do this, this is, it happens at the first start of the day and all that kind of stuff. So it was going back to what actually helped as an employee. So trying to hold too much in your head, you know, this is the thing, you know, we're trying to strive for all this freedom, but what we realise is that our brains actually don't want freedom. We are toddlers in our minds, and what we need is actually boundaries. So what happens is we end up feeling anxious and overwhelmed. Um, and so we have days where if we're really not feeling it, it all starts to feel like too much. And if we've got busy days as well, because there is a minimum number of things that many of us need to get done at the start of a day, or at some point in the day, that will keep our business ticking over. Because this is the thing, our business is no different from any other business. Even though you might be one person on your own, you know, showing up for a few hours a week, you know, whatever, the principles of how a business works are exactly the same for us as they are for any large organisation. And if anyone has ever had a job anywhere, will realise that, yeah, businesses have a plan. There's things that you have to do day in, day out. And it's often that's the thing that we kind of rebel against when we're employed. It's like, oh, the same old shit day in, day out. But that's actually what keeps the business going. And so it's finding your version of that. So, you know, if our energy is not consistent, if life is unpredictable, negative thoughts can creep in and start to distract us, and start to tell ourselves, oh, well, this isn't what I want to be doing, this isn't fun, I haven't got time for this. You know, how many times in a day do you say to yourself, oh, well, I'll do that, but I haven't got time for that? You know, it's negative self-talk. Okay, so if we can get into a flow of actually automating our process, so building a habit around it, it means that we can get things done on our business that are the things that will sustain it, but also encourage us to be more visible, and to grow as well. And as many of us know, majority of that means things like showing up on social media, and reaching out and that kind of stuff. So the solution for me came oh, yeah, when I started to make better use of my time. So thinking about you know, what my time looks like. You know, when we've got a job, our boundaries are set for us. Hopefully our working hours are set for us. It's something we fail to do quite often when we start our own business. And when we start to look at exchanging time for money, what I realised was that I was exchanging way too much time for too little money. You know, I was just sat there slogging away. What more can I do? There's always more to do. Having your ideal week helps you to be able to not do that, to not, you know, feel like you need to be powering through all the time. Week is always going to be unpredictable. You know, it's not, oh, this is your week and that's it. However, what it does is it enables you to get the majority of things done. And getting visibility on your time, and making it tangible is absolutely the way to go with that. So my 7 tips for planning out your ideal week. So begin by looking at your week as a whole. I don't tend to I do break certain things down into days, but I tend to look at my week. So get visibility on where your time is, and that will actually help you to decide where certain tasks can fit. You know, whilst there are things we can do on a day-to-day basis, it can be a little bit unpredictable and interchangeable. So look at your whole week and get visibility. So if you've got other commitments, for example, if you're somebody who has to be in the playground every morning and every afternoon, like I did for many, many years, yeah, that limits your day. You think you've got all day, but of course you haven't. If you're someone who has a part-time job, if you have you know, other responsibilities, you know, that kind of stuff. It sounds obvious, as much of this is most of it's obvious, but what you need to be doing is getting visibility on what actual time you have to work on your business. So that's thinking about the amount of time you want to spend with clients or making your product, and then on your business. When you realize that at least 50% of your available time will be working on your business, so doing all the stuff that feels like it's nothing to do with what you love, so that's your social media and all that kind of stuff, at least 50% of your time is going to be divided between working on your business and in it. So get visibility on your time. Block out stuff. If you don't want to work on a Friday, if Fridays is your day to, you know, go shopping, get your hair done, you know, visit family, go out with friends, go day drinking, whatever what you like to do on a Friday. You know, if you don't want to work on a Friday, block it out. Don't leave it as an option, okay? And then write a list of all the repeated tasks that you do for your business. So things that you need and want to do. So for example, write an email, show up live, schedule my posts, show up in a group, do some admin, include time for learning as well. So if you're, you know, wanting to learn new things in business, that's about watching, you know, webinars, stuff like this, lives, that kind of thing. Again, set some time aside to do that. And I would highly encourage a boundary around that. You know, I do not advocate being on social media all day scrolling. You know, absolutely not. Get in, get what you need, and get back out again. So if you need to interact in groups, for example, where you're learning for yourself, set a time aside to do that. And then create a one-page document, and divide it into days. So I've got a section for repeated monthly tasks. So I've got, so mine looks like a 3 columns. So I've got monthly tasks, things I do every month. So that's usually stuff about invoicing, things for the dog business, that kind of stuff. And then daily tasks. So, you know, what do Mondays generally look like? So you can usually tell, like if you have particularly busy client days, so like Mondays is my admin day, but I'm quite often have dog clients coming and going on Mondays and Fridays, so I try and keep those clear. So that straight away pushes my client work into the middle of the week. So my Mondays look different from my Wednesdays, if that makes sense. But get visibility on it, and then you can start to divide those tasks. If you commit to writing 1 email a week, for example, what day is that ideally going to happen on? Is it going to it's, for me, it's going to happen either on a Monday or Friday. It's not going to happen smack bang in the middle of when I'm trying to coach clients, okay? Because the cognitive switch between being creative and coaching, yeah, it messes with my mind. So I like to keep those tasks separately. And bear in mind, keep in mind that this is planning your ideal week. So if you put something on a Monday and it doesn't happen, that's okay. It's okay to move it, but at least you've committed to it. You've got visibility on it. You can look at your week at the, you know, at the beginning of the week and know what needs to be done. So yeah, so creating it on a 1-page document, and I have it on 1 A4 sheet. I started it on a spreadsheet, so I don't handwrite it, so I can update it each month, so because things do change. And yeah, and I have it where I can see it every single day. And you know, having like days for creativity, for example. It's like some of us like to have a good run at things, don't we? So if I know I've got a project, for example, to work on, I have a specific day. Like I create my posts on a certain day, and then I commit to scheduling them on a different day, because that's really helpful for me. Accept that you are not perfect. No plan is perfect. So things will move, okay? Days will change, things will happen. Accept that failure and shit days are inevitable, okay? So there are days where this is all going to go to shit, trust me. But when they do, if you come back to the plan, it's a lot less derailing, okay? Learn to love working on your business as well as in it. So I said this at the start, you know, it's on the business that is always the thing that gets pushed, particularly when we're under pressure. When you realise that, you know, your business, neither one can exist without the other. You know, I don't know of anybody who's able to have a business and not have to do stuff in the background, okay? And particularly if you want to grow that business or make any money out of it, then there is always stuff you're going to have to do in the background. So the sooner you start to learn to love it and appreciate it, but also make it easier for yourself, and things like this make it easier, the much more successful you're going to be at getting that done. So create a plan that is right for you and don't overload yourself. So the goal is more time away from your desk, not more time at it. So resist the urge to pile lots of stuff on there. You know, let's keep this to the minimum, you know, number of things that need to be done. So it's about repeated tasks. So this is not a to-do list for the week. This is a list of repeated things that you have to do, or that you need to do week in, week out, that it's just going to help to grease the wheels when you come and sit at your desk, okay? And the last one, number 7, is promise yourself that no matter how derailed or demotivated you get, that you're always going to come back to the plan. Our need for consistency, our desire for perfection, our utter fear of failure makes, you know, getting demotivated and derailed when it happens. It makes it really, really hard sometimes to come back to it. But when we accept that we are going to get demotivated or derailed, we will be distracted. Some weeks it's all going to go to pot. Sometimes that's going to be on you, and sometimes it's going to be nothing to do with you. You know, if you've got kids or family members that are, you know, that need you for any reason, if priorities change or you want to take a week off, or, you know, so this is the thing, when you have this plan, what's also made a lot easier is navigating the unpredictable things in life, because life is the thing that tends to cause us to become overwhelmed. It's when things go wrong. Like I sat for 2 hours this morning with the boiler man, you know, trying to fix our boiler, which, spoiler alert, is still not fixed. You know, and I was kind of sat and I was like, oh, what can I do? You know, and I should have done is just gone and watched the TV, but I felt I needed to look busy whilst he was here. But yeah, it just, you know, what all the things I'd had planned at the start of the week for this morning didn't happen. You know, and so what having a consistent plan does, because I know I've still ticked off the vital stuff. We've always got solid ground to come back to. That's the idea. So each day you show up knowing what you needs to be done, and for me, for my energy, for my brain fog, that I need that. So you can hit the ground running. You can start taking stuff off. You can tap into that energy of accomplishment immediately. Okay, you're going to have clarity on what needs to happen. You're going to have courage to step out of your comfort zone as well, so that once you've started, you know, fulfilling all the things that need to be done, when it comes to saying, thinking, oh, I think I'll go live, or oh, I think I'll do this thing, or you know, ideas will come to mind. You'll have the courage to step out of your comfort zone and do that, and stop second guessing yourself. You know, you're going to create consistency, and you're going to take back time, because you're going to stop slogging away. Because, you know, slogging away on your business, I don't know anybody, I haven't met anybody yet who started their own business because they wanted to work more hours. You know, it was all about taking back time, doing what feels right, being helpful, being useful, earning money, but making it easier, making it more joyful, having more free time. I certainly started my business because I wanted to be present in my life. And that certainly wasn't what was happening in the beginning. And your plan will help you to stay accountable. So accountability is an energy that we have to tap into. It's our responsibility. Other people can facilitate accountability. That's certainly what I do with my clients. But I'm not there doing it for them. So the action actually has to come from them. So your plan becomes almost a way to start to coach yourself, because it will help you to stay accountable to what you committed to say you were going to do. So okay, so that's enough from me about ideal planning. So if you have any questions, do let me know. Let me know how you get on. How, you know, what do you do for, you know, for planning? What really works for you? What's worked in the past? And if you found these tips useful, please do let me know. I'd love to hear your comments, and I'd love your feedback. You know, if you're watching live, I don't know if Hindi, if you're still with me, the comments aren't coming up. So yeah, so thank you for being here. And as I say, if it has been useful, do let me know. Just as a last point, if you really are struggling to work on your business because your business is growing, if you're finding that time is something that is really tricky for you, by having a plan like this, what it also helps you to do is outsourcing becomes a lot easier. We understand and realise what we want to do, but also what we really don't want to do. You know, there are certain things that we can start to say, okay, I've got my head around that, okay, but I'm going to make some space by outsourcing it. So if you are looking for solutions for outsourcing, I'm going to drop a link to Gemma's vision call and to her website, because, you know, this growing your business is absolutely and outsourcing is definitely the next step for that. So if you really are struggling, if you get in your head, if you're doing a plan like this, if you're getting visibility on your week and you're like, there literally isn't time for me to do all of this, it's probably ready, you know, you're ready to outsource. So okay, so Hindi's saying, I've never planned before, I just started last week. I'm creating a weekly plan, not a daily plan. Yes, brilliant, fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a weekly plan, looking at it, you know, a week at a time, because too much can change in a day. Too many different things can happen to sort of derail us. But if we give ourselves the week to get all the things done, then yeah, success is far much easier. So well done, brilliant Hindi, thank you for that. Okay, all right, that's enough from me. Enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great Friday and a lovely weekend, and I'll see you all soon.